Okay, so we have I'm really excited about this episode. It's with Johan Hasslemark. How are you, Johan?
Good, good.
Good, good. Now, you may or may not have heard of Johan, but he's a big swim runner in my head because he's the only person I believe to have started and finished the first Ertelö Swim Run World Championships and the first one water race. So quite a unique individual in some ways. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. That was a very narrow combination of being unique. You have to grasp whatever you got, right?
No, I mean, being one of the first, like, from what I can tell, now we're
Yeah.
going to talk a little bit about the first ever swim run in the world, because you were there. And how many teams were on the start line?
I think it was 12, if I 10 or 12, if I remember correct.
Okay.
That's a long time ago. It's actually
Yeah.
20 years ago, if I'm right. If the first like official version of Ötulé was in 2006, it's 20 years ago.
Yeah. So, and there was only two teams that finished. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And okay, I've got a lot of questions. I'll try not to, go on too much about it. But how did you hear about that race initially?
It was actually Mikael Lemmel. It was Mikael Lemmel and Mats Andersson who started Ötulö, and I knew them from the adventure racing scene. They were very much our inspiration to go into adventure racing, to start all that. As a Swedish team leading sort of pioneers into the sport, and I think they have made a lot for adventure racing. There's still a lot of Swedish, very, very good teams on the international scene, and I would say they actually started it for real, that the whole thing. And then, I mean, most people know the story about being drunken at Utö, making a bet of going from Sandhamn to Utö. And Mikael Lemmel was and Mats Andersson was one of those people. And I remember just after finishing the adventure racing world championships in 2006, that was actually held in Sweden and Norway. One of the best courses ever. We had a great. That was actually our first really non-stop long race, going for 4 or 5 days, and we came seventh, I think. And we're so smashed. I was so smashed after the race, and I just had a call from Mikael Lemmel trying to get teams to his race, and he was like, "You should come race this. It's next weekend. It will be a wonderful day in Archipelago." And I was having in mind like sunshine, beautiful islands, red cabins, the Scandinavian archipelago dream sort of dream day. And I remember I said, well, why not this? So, and I it was quite close. I think it was like 8-9 days after we finished the adventure racing world champs, racing for days, absolutely destroyed. And I was like, I had no idea, but I was like, I should be fine. I should recover. And I got a friend who also was on the adventure racing team, but he didn't do the world champs. Martin Salmén of Gothenburg is a very very low profile on social media. That's how you know people these days, which is terrible itself. He's a firefighter in Gothenburg. I don't know how he what if he does any sports anymore, but he was a good athlete, so part of the team. Did not do the world champs with us, but I knew him, and he sort of like, sure, I can swim and I can run, and let's go. So like 8-9 days only after that race, we started the very first and we had absolutely no idea what we were doing or the format of the race. Like somehow I knew at the end of the day we should handle it with the experience and the level of athletes and the knowledge of nutrition, but I had no idea how hard it was going. going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. That was you were creating the way it was going to be in a way. You and everyone else who was there, and so two teams finished.
Yeah,
A Finnish team from Finland,
yeah,
and yourselves. So second place, and no one else finished. Yeah,
yeah.
I guess. Okay.
I guess you want my comment on it. No, but at those days when we decide when I decided to go for it, uh, I um, we when we decided to go for it, we had a couple of days to scrap equipment up, and at the time, I mean, the sport didn't even have the name swim run. It was Ötulö with swim and run, and all the equipment was allowed. And the very first year, it was mandatory with a full PDF, like a floating device, a floating aid.
Uh,
What do you call this?
yeah.
PDF, life vest.
Yeah. A life jacket
Yeah, life jacket.
or a
Yeah, yeah,
PFD.
yeah. PFD. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. PFD. That's
Yeah.
correct. Uh,
Yeah.
and it should be CE mark with a certain amount of buoyancy, and which was adventure racing standards for kayaking
Yeah.
at the time. And imagine swimming with that, the drag, like, and and we were like, well, we need wetsuits. We brought wetsuits. We had a very short time to prepare. So but we still had most equipment from the adventure racing stuff, so it wasn't that much of a big deal. But we did full covering wetsuits, long sleeves, long arms, the PFD, the life vest, and cap, goggles, of course. And but then we saw like the original starting list was Jonas Kolting, and okay, I may mix up the teams, but I think it was another trial at the time, Passes Salonen. I think they raced together that year, the first year. And I heard from others, because I tried to get as much information and idea of the proper triathletes, because I knew they will definitely outswim us. Like we know how to swim, but we didn't train on swimming regularly. We're pretty shit at swimming, and and it was like I knew we outran them in the train for sure. We made a lot of fun of the triathletes in the proper train at that time. They just couldn't run trails or in train. So we knew that we had the upper hand on land. But the swimming, we were like, we're gonna lose so much time. And I got the information that they had a plan to swim with like dry bags towed after them with the dry land gear sort of, and then change in and out of the islands. But I think it's like, as far as I remember, it's like 27 islands on Ötterö to pass. I may be totally wrong, but it's a massive amount and in and out of the water.
Yeah.
And if you are very quick, if you stand inside perfect conditions in your living room and make a full transitions, that will still take you like 4 or 5 minutes, and that will add up to a certain amount of time. And I knew that if it's cold, it's windy, you're miserable, or you're outside and being tired at all, that will take even longer time. So we went there with the approach of like, okay, let's do this. We had flippers to make the swimming better with the life vest and everything, and we had idea to just keep everything on and just suffer the heat and be good in the water as good as we can, like sort of decent body temperature, and just keep going, like the constant flow instead of stopping and taking on and off stuff. And people listening to this, like, didn't they know better? No, we didn't. Like, people take so much for granted when the culture is already set, when the
Yeah.
equipment is already there. It's like when you discover and when you pioneer, that's when you discover the real shit. The rest is just followers. So like, you don't forget that. Like, so
Yeah.
we were just figuring out, and I heard that Jonas, and we saw them as the main competition, and I heard they will dress and undress in and out of the water. And I was like, the only way to beat them is to not undress or do anything with equipment, just go. And so we did. But at the start boat, when we entered the boat taking us out to Sandhamn, out of nowhere, the Finnish team showed up that, of course, knew Mikael Lemmel and Mats Andersson as well. And at the time, the Finnish team, Team Nokia, dominated the adventure racing scene. They were so good. And Petri Forsman is one of them. And then I forgot the name of the second guy. No, I will not even try to remember.
Ville Niemla?
Ville. I think it's, yeah, Ville. So anyway, they were good. And all of a sudden they showed up on the boat, and I was like, fuck. if they come here, they have a plan. And they did. So the very first year, there was, as far as I remember, there were no regulations on what equipment to use. As long as you carried it all the way, you couldn't drop anything. Dropping equipment was the same as disqualification. So you had to choose what to bring and bring it all the way. So technically you could do it in a kayak. It's just that you have to bring the kayak all the way. And so they just, as I remember it, maybe, the brain after a couple of years, it makes shit up. But I really remember them they did for sure having floating like mattresses, inflatable mattresses like you have on the beach. And I do remember them to be Nokia phones, like this advertisement shit mattresses, and that's what they used for like the swims.
Yeah. So they packed them down between.
No, they actually, I think they kept them inflated and run with them
on the backs. Okay,
under
the oh god,
it looked absolutely ridiculous. But we didn't look better. I mean, you run with life vests on land, and well, I remember it. Of course, they just disappeared. So the wind sort of was in their favor. They were a strong team. At the end of the day, I at some point they were at least 2 hours ahead of us. I think we had an hour difference once finishing, and we were so tired in the end in the swims. The long swims were so slow. I think we had a finishing time of like 12 and a half hours or something. And but we were the only teams that finished. The other teams did not make it. Like, and yeah. That's
awesome. I mean, that is it. So I've got a lot of things there, but the swimming in the PFDs, the personal flotation device. That I mean, I've done that, and I've only done it for like 20 meters or something. That is terrible.
Yeah, it's insanely slow, and we discovered also when you're fresh and haven't run a bit, when you swim with flippers, you swim better because you can use the legs. But after a while, when you're extremely fatigued, the flippers will more or less just make you cramp up instead.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens also. So in the end, we didn't even use the flippers that actively. And I remember one of the longer swims I did double arm backstroking like a rowboat at some points just to keep traveling.
I like that stroke.
We didn't. I mean, me and Martin, who I raced with, Salmen, we didn't swim. We kayaked a lot, but we didn't have the time to swim train. So shoulders were like popcorn at that time.
Yeah,
paddles and the drag of the life vest and everything. It's
terrible. God.
But, yeah, and I also like had the imagination of a nice day, sunny day out in the archipelago, and somewhere it's like, it's gonna be about 5K of swimming, and after a while I was like, this is so much swimming. And it's like, no, it's 11K or 10K.
Yeah.
We never really considered the distance. It's like just we'll just race it. Like
pioneers, as you say, and running in the full length on the leg in particular across the you know, that's
we did
awful.
we did roll down. The idea was to keep the full wetsuits on all the way, but the heat just got. It was a nice day, so we did get some, but it just at the long runs in the end, it just got too warm. So we started to roll them down, which took a lot of time, but still, it's.
Yeah,
But the original idea of keep the momentum and not change too much and having efficient transitions and not standing still. I mean, we took that from adventure racing. That worked for sure.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
if the if the Finns, Team Nokia didn't show up, we would have been the only team finished.
yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it almost feels like cheating if they're on, they're not, I know there weren't any rules, but if they're on inflatable things with a wind behind them,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And what I did like, well, everyone knows Jonas Colting, I think,
yeah,
and he was. I remember him to be in written like absolutely furious after the race, and because he kept the second year that I didn't race. Um, I think me and Daniel Hansson raced the third year, which is a story on itself. But I think he was absolutely furious because, especially after the second year, because then you had some kind of regulations on how much floating devices and how long they could be, or dimensions and everything. But also, like the teams showing up with all kinds of solutions on that, it just looked like a circus. And his full criticism was like, you can't invent a sport where the fucking clowns win. Like it can never be. It can never be. He was totally right. Like it looked shit. Like you can never invent a sport and try and uh, like try to make it popular if the teams that looks most shit and most like clowns end up winning. It has to be some kind of regulations or the purpose of swimming, etc. His argument was he was quite aggressive about it, but I think he also contributed a lot for a faster development in how swim run ended up like. Otherwise, we would have been. I mean, uh, there was a risk in the beginning there that it would have been a mattress paddling and running sport.
right,
that,
yeah.
and that wouldn't have been the same, I think.
Yeah, I guess because Mikael Lemel wasn't a swimmer as such, I suppose, whereas Jonas was, so I guess he fed into, I think Jonas said about getting rid of the PFDs, a few years down the line, and
Yeah,
so yeah, I can see that how that's developed. Um, yeah, okay, and then you did it. Yeah, you were second, I believe, when you raced with Daniel Hansen
yeah,
in.
yeah. And so Daniel and me, we did a lot of our adventure racing with the FGS adventure racing team, and together with Christine Larson, who also we're together in the one water race team, which is
Yeah.
very fun. And no, he just again. I wanted to race the race again, and Daniel just said yes, and so that's another story. Like, but I never. My main focus was the adventure racing, so that was more of the swim run was a side project, still fun. So we swam together in the autumn when we decided to go for Öterö, which I think it was the third year, must have been. I may remember wrong, but it was in the same direction, like Sandhamn to Ute, and no bikes. So that narrows it down. It must have been 2008. Yeah, whatever. And so in the autumn, I mean, I'm not a good swimmer. I didn't swim regularly 2 years after either. But when we swam together, Daniel, like he wasn't even used to swim with his head at the waterline or below the water. He's doing breaststrokes like a swan. I was like, you have to learn how to swim. Like that's the only chance we have. And so he did. So when we had another session, like in the spring, we didn't do the swim training. I didn't do swim training at all. He just absolutely outswam me. Like he was so much better. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So he was so strong, and we did a good race. We raced. That's one of the like the best race situations, or the like in the aftermath. How when you remember a race in the race itself, like the competition itself, one of the hardest and not hardest, but most fun, most rememberable head-to-head racing against Jonas Kolting and Gordon Byrne. And
Right.
they at that time the third year removed the PFDs and made it into not really how we were very experimental of like floating aids in the wetsuits and so on to have the correct buoyancy with shoes or just us being shitty swimmers. And so we did a lot of we had inflatable like camelbacks on our thighs that we put air in instead of what you use now. What do
Yeah.
you call it?
The pool boys.
Yeah,
Pool
pool
boy.
boy. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of a pool boy, we had inflatable um, air bubbles in the legs, like on the legs, so to have a better water position.
Mm.
And I remember we raced pretty hard, and they won. Like they were the stronger team for sure. But it's a very back and forth because they were so much better swimmers, and we ran in the train a lot better than them. But that was a very memorable race for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's 3 minutes. Apparently, you were
oh,
three
that's that close.
3 minutes
Oh
behind.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And they were called Red Bull Ironman. Jonas Colting and Gordon Byrne. So Red Bull. There
Yeah,
we
there
go.
was slight before. I don't remember who was first out of the water at Ute, but they were slight faster running on roads and gravel. We were a
Yeah.
lot faster on the
The
trails and the
trail.
train.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at that point, the train now it's the whole course is just one big trail. At that point, it was a lot of uncharted parts of the course that was just pure train, and uh, which was beneficial for us. We were faster there. They were faster on the flats. They were definitely faster in the water. So it was a lot of throughout the whole race. It was so much back and forth. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. So in those, say the first edition, were there was there much course markings and any aid stations? What?
yeah,
How?
yeah. So there were a few aid stations. I remember the very first year as well. The big ones at the um, where we passed the archipelago restaurants. I remember there were aid stations there as well.
Okay.
There were course markings from the very first year, but
Okay.
I would say with a lower standard.
Yeah.
So, so we had even on the third year we had the upper hand by being able to read the map well and
Mhm.
doing good navigation as well. So the
Yeah.
course marking has been improved a lot. So which is good because I think we come from orienteering, both me and Daniel. So for us, it's just good if the course is not that well marked and if all teams have maps. But I do believe in all kinds of racing, when you say the course is marked, it should be marked. Like otherwise, it ends up in between some
Yeah.
kind of adventure racing or whatever it is.
Yeah. 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 That's true. No, it's amazingly marked now. I mean, the amount of flags and bits of arrows and whatnot is just is impressive.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I imagine it was pretty different back then. So, and then you did a couple more years. I think last from the data I've got, the last one, the last World Champs you did was 2013 with Daniel. A time of 9:10, not as fast as before he did. I think 9:12. Yeah, so 9:10's pretty up there. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So and then you kind of moved on. Did you swim run since then, or have you
No,
completely left?
actually not. I think we had. I've done it 4 times, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
according to
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think the third year, especially the last 2013, we ended up fifth, I think. It was a significant increase in competition because all of a sudden the teams started to improve, and at that point I was more into adventure racing, and Daniel was definitely on the track of swim run. So, and he was really, really strong, and he pulled me that race like a sack of potatoes. So I told him like, hey, there's no meaning of you dragging me along. If there would have been two Daniels on the team that year, that team would definitely have won with a big margin. So I was like why just like keep doing swim run, and I'll keep riding my bike. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty obvious agreement, because I never found, again, I prioritized at that time adventure racing, still did a lot of riding bikes and so on. So I didn't swim regularly at all at that time either, like nothing almost, except a few sessions leading up to the race.
Right.
So
So, yeah, I'm just looking back at the results. Like Daniel in 2017, which is still, I mean, it's not early days, but there's still kind of, it still wasn't completely settled on the equipment, really. He still did a sub 8 hour time in there. I mean, it's just brilliant.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
brilliant. So, you guys are now, I know last few years, one water race has been a big part of your August. I'm guessing you've applied again, Johan.
Yeah, we'll race this year again, same team.
Cool.
I mean, the concept is pretty successful. So.
Yeah, you've done pretty well. Yeah, very well. Three. I mean, is it 3 out of 4 wins? Was
Yeah,
it? Yeah, yeah. And how do you find it on the boat? I guess you enjoy it.
yeah. I mean, it's like I I would like to race the race on the course myself at some point, for sure. But the team setup and how good the others are in the team on swim running, especially swimming and running. There's and I can provide the most to the team by being on the boat, handling maps and so on. For sure, I do that job well, and the others are doing a fantastic job being athletes, of course. So it's a very good setup, and we know each other inside out, sort of, at this
Yeah.
stage. So it was a very fun project to pick up 4 years ago with the one races. For sure.
Yeah. And how did you find? So last year, 2025, at the start, the French Hugo, Desiree, Lars, and Nicholas, wasn't it? That was the team. They were started fast. And did you feel any pressure from the fastest, those guys basically at the start?
Yeah, for
Or
sure. They brought to this year's race. They brought in another race dynamic, for sure, and we had a lot of respect for them. I think. Okay, they. I, against my own team, I do think they are, like, out of an athletical perspective, they may even be the better athletes. But when it comes down to very long distances, reaching overnights, like 50 plus hours of racing, or around 50 hours of racing, it also comes down to being able to take care of yourself, the continuous grinding and everything, and experience, and parts that you cannot measure on an athlete, like how you uh, keep things together with the fatigue, and just battle it through, and stay in focus, keep pushing, and so on.
yeah,
So somewhere I wasn't so somewhere I had a lot of respect, or we have a lot of respect for all teams, but they are a good team, and we had to keep an eye on them. At the same time, the race actually doesn't start until after the last night, like, or the first night. I mean, after
Mhm.
24 hours of racing, then that's where this race really starts, to be
Hmm.
honest. And
Okay.
I did. Information is everything, so I did keep an eye on them as much as I could, like how much litter they left or how much food they picked up and so on. And pretty soon I was like, well, they're just having too little energy to have this sustainable. And we could, I uh, I tried to more hold back our team than to keep pushing. Like there was because their team pushed the speed, so there was no meaning for us to overshoot them and to increase the speed even more. More stay behind in control, and keep pushing energy and make sure we're not the ones that will crack.
Yeah. Yeah. That get the food is a whole project in itself, isn't it? The nutrition and how much to eat and when and yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole key for a long distance races, no matter what, especially
Yeah.
when it's cold. Also, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how good athlete you are if you go for several hours without uh, taking in excess energy and fluids and salts. You don't go anywhere, or at least you become extremely slow, no matter what. It doesn't matter what kind of nutrition religion you belong to. You can be as much LCHF you want to. You will just be slow and miserable.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like it's chemistry. Like
Yeah.
it's very basic, and you just have to push a lot of energy, a lot of fluids, a lot of hydration, salts,
Mm-hmm.
and start working with that from the very first hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So so team. Speaking of that and that being able to go for days and days, the team Australia. I mean, those guys. Perhaps. Well, they obviously weren't the fastest last year, but they just seem to be able to keep going. Just, yeah. I don't know. It just feels like
No,
that.
no, that's correct. That's correct. They come from adventure racing as well. They are
Yeah.
extremely experienced. Rob Preston is like a really good navigator and orienteer. They, I mean, they don't, they, like that's the reverse. I think maybe our team is the better athletes with a higher like top end speeds and base speeds, sort of. But we cannot do a bad race. We cannot do mistakes, because then the Australians will just come on their diesels, like the same speed, the same. And sometimes it feels like if the race for 4 days, they will just keep on machining and having the same sort of pace and just push through another 2 days if they needed to. So they are. I mean, there's very solid, for sure. A very good team.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think? What I'm amazed. I know they've got Julian Dent, who's got some good, obviously, knowledge of the archipelago and
Mm.
Sweden and speaks Sweden. Live there. Would you guys? Do you think if there was a one water race in, say, Australia or somewhere else, Scotland, do you think you guys would enter? Or
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. We've been talking about that a lot, and of course there are benefits of being in your home train and your home ground, and knowing a lot about the area. But sometimes, like the map material is actually really good, and sometimes may give it too much. But knowing pathways and being able to recce the course and everything, at some points especially when you're tired, you think you know a faster route because you're familiar with it, and you take that one because then you don't have to read a map when you're tired. But
Hmm.
there's a many times where the map information, actually when you're neutral to the map information, you will actually take better route choices than to know too much about the train. And I found that at some occasions, of course, we take good road choices because we know the train and we've been racing the whole archipelago now for 4 years. But there's at some occasions during this year's race, there's definitely Rob's team, the Australian team, taking better route choices off the map than we did because we know the terrain. And being a good navigator out on an adventure racing perspective also means you can travel trains by map as fast as you've been there before. That's the skill of a good adventure racing. Like it doesn't matter if you haven't been there before. You just eat train by map, and you have the same speed as you've been there before. So that said, I mean, Daniel is a great orienteer. I do maps and navigation. Been doing that my whole life in different kind of setups and racing and whatever it is. So I think we will perform very well, as well as Rob and the Australian teams performs really well in the Swedish archipelago. I think our team will perform extremely well no matter where we end up in the world. So that's yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like your confidence.
Can always make mistakes and so on, but it's the concept. We have. It's not that racing somewhere in the world is nothing new to us. We've done that in the past for so many years. I've been through like the whole Pantanal and Amazonas and Africa's and Asian train and where the maps in the middle of nowhere. So we've done that through our whole life. So it's nothing new. That's why.
Yeah.
But I choose to remain my confidence in it.
Yeah, no, you make a good argument. So let's think about. So what's your current racing? I know you did Kona was it last year or the year before? You did. You're still racing yourself. You're still in Ironman and endurance triathlon.
Yeah, I do mostly triathlons. X-Tri triathlons in the X-Trial World Series, like Norseman, Swissman, Swedeman, Celtman, and there's a series of races in the X-Tri World Tour that I really like the format. And they're beautiful races and really cool locations. And then last couple of years I've become a triathlete, a proper triathlete. But I find it very, very motivating coming from a sport where like your performance is like dragging a backpack over mountains and through jungles. Kayaking is like, how much better did I get? Well, we bet the other teams or not. Well, the triathlon is very measurable. It's very upfront with the end result, the timings, the speeds, and everything. And I really enjoy that. Even I passed due date. Like it wasn't many years ago. I was like, oh, there's so many years left of racing. There's so much races, and all of a sudden, like, where did all of the years go? So I'm 47, becoming 48 this year, and I'm like, well, maybe I should be fast at something at some point, and not just grinding stuff. So my mission is to become fairly fast at triathlons.
Cool. Are we talking Ironman distance or half?
The Ironman triathlons.
Okay.
Try to at least, even though I'm totally aware of past my due date long time ago. but it's still very fun to see what you can do with a lot of training knowledge, physiology, and know what I respond on very well after many years of training and races. It's a fun pursuit.
Yeah, exciting. So do you have a coach or you're self-coached?
I actually have a coach, a proper coach for the first time in my life. The thing is, I built activities in Sweden, which is according to Training Peaks, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing, we're the fourth or fifth largest coaching organizations worldwide, only on the Swedish one. So I built that together with colleagues the last 11, 12 years. And I've been having colleagues and friends that have been always discussing training when planning and having them as sort of mentors maybe, but never a proper assigned coach. But now I actually have, for the first time in like since half year back in triathlon. It's
cool.
the Norwegian Arl Tveiten, so I'm all in on the the original Norwegian model.
Oh yes. Well, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Which is
Norwegian. Yeah.
which is quite interesting. It's the I'm used to big volumes and loads in periods, but this is like the next like the whole mission, the whole thing I've done with training and getting myself involved with activities is like when life caught you with kids and work and everything, like, but I still want to race.
Yeah.
And how can I, with like 8-hour training weeks, beat people that train 20 to 25 hours a week? Like, how can I beat them, or at least be as good as them? And that's the whole how to tune every session and the training of very few hours to get endurance effects and capacity effects out of it. That was my mission like 14, 15 years ago. And that ended me up working with activities, that the whole pursuit of that. So being a lot older now, I'm on the total opposite with the Norwegian coach doing massive amount of hours.
Right.
It's too early to say if it will do me good or not, but I just try to manage it. Like.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so what's your next race then? What's the
I will
target?
do Ironman Texas in April again. It's a race that suits me. It's like the time during the spring is good. I have a lot. I usually have a lot of training camps during the spring, leading me up to a fairly good form in April and May. And so
cool.
I just feel I have to race something there to not waste good form.
Yeah. So it's Texas. So I guess will that be a lake swim, or I guess
The lake swim.
Yeah.
Partially a very straightforward riding on a motorway back and forth, and then I actually quite nice run, flat, but in a quite nice area.
So, cool.
Well,
okay.
Doing Ironmans, I'm only in for the pursuit of time and speed over the distance. If you want experiences, Ironman is not the right arena. It doesn't matter where you are. It's the same. It's the same rock concert you come to. It doesn't matter where you are. If you want experience, do adventure racing, swim runs, or X-Tris. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't it funny though? Isn't it funny? You are one of 4 people who finished the first ever swim run, and it was the big one. And now you've gone completely in terms of your own racing, and your performance. Now you're much older, and you've gone for the time and distance.
Yeah, for the boring stuff.
Well, no, but I suppose it's contrast, isn't it? Yeah.
But I've been in so many weird places and had so many race experiences. I will probably come back to adventure racing. I'll most likely end up in a swim run at some point, or trail races. I still do them, like trail race. I do other races as well, but the focus now is to be faster at the standard long distance triathlons.
Brilliant. Okay, good. So you guys, I know you don't want to give too much away, but have you got any you going to Uto? I know you guys usually go to Uto before one water race, and
yeah, I think so. I won't be racing there myself, but the rest of the team usually races Uto, and then we add on training hours after the race.
Yeah,
or for one water race. I mean.
Yeah, almost right. Yeah, cool. And I see Kristen Larson is she's in the elite program this year for the Ursula, so I guess she'll be doing a few working around one water race, of course. But she's the kind of person that can do that.
Absolutely. No, she's one of a kind, for sure.
I mean, Adriel's Australian. Did you ever think of getting rid of Adriel and getting a Swedish swimmer in?
No, so far Adriel is way too good to get rid of him.
No, I know. I'm joking. I know. But the Aussies might. I don't know.
No, he has a amazing mindset. And I mean, his swimming is ridiculous.
Yeah.
speed over time, absolutely, but how he navigates and reads water, and like all of a sudden he's like starts shouting like, we're drifting, like I'm on a boat with like, and the boat driver has a full navigation equipment. We haven't even noticed the drift, but he does in the water. Like that's and he compensates for that in his navigation from the water, and it's like the way he sights and have, like when I swim, I have no idea what's going on around me, but he's so aware of everything around him and how objects move and currents and winds and waves, and he's so skilled in open water swimming. So I mean, he's no, the team is so good, so there's no reason of doing any
you're right.
changes. And I mean, he's half Swedish at least.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
by living here for a long time.
Oh, cool. Well, no, I mean, awesome team, and great fun as well. So yeah, good luck in One Water Race, and good luck in Texas.
Thank you.
And chasing the times, of course. And yeah, we will be. Well, you haven't been revealed. I know they're doing the revealing of the teams every Friday, but you know, I'm sure you'll get in.
Maybe I said too much. When will you post it? They send, like the One Water, send you this massive agreement. I probably.
Oh yeah.
I probably violated some parts of it already.
To be honest, Johan, you know, we know your reply. We know the Australian team reply.
Yeah.
You know,
not a surprise.
But are you guys? You're normally Team 6, aren't you?
No, we have had different numbers each year. It changes. Like
okay, all right, okay. That's one. Okay.
I think we should be number 1 every year.
Well, as long as you are at the end, that's what counts, isn't it? Cool. Exactly. Well, good, great, Johan. Thank you for coming on and sharing some of the memories from a long time ago, 20 years ago.
So many years.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Been a pleasure. Good luck.
Cheers. Thanks.